Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tadaima, Terrace House Podcast, your weekly companion to your favorite show on Netflix. I am Robert Scarpanito, and I am joined here by Daily Wilhelm.
Konbanwa.
Colin Sparling.
Konbanwa.
And not Jack Cepeda. I guess the alcohol from last week might have caught up to him.
Shaimase. What are you guys talking about? I'm right here.
Oh, Jack's been here the whole time. Hey, Jack, how's it going?
Oh, it's going well, you guys. I'm here in Austin, Texas, doing Texas things. And
shooting
now
revolvers.
I'm here talking about Japanese things. Yeah, guns. Pew, pew, pow.
Right, because that's what Jack talks about every time he's on the podcast.
Second Amendment.
Man, this is so Jack-like. Man, I'm just struck. How are you here? I mean, I don't even see you in our chat.
Sometimes you just gotta take a break from life
and possess Colin and speak through him.
Well,
yeah, you know what they say about that Colin guy? He's great. He always comes in with a great perspective in the show, and he's an invaluable voice.
See, here's the fun thing about knowing how to possess Colin, and you can do this at home too. You just need to feel like you work at a brewery in Seattle, and you just kind of embody that in your mind and soul, and eventually you'll wake up as Colin.
He just blinks off, and then you become Colin.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
See, that was him switching back.
R/Colin thoughts.
Here's the thing, though. While you're inhabiting Colin's body, Colin goes to visit Fred Durst's body. So it's kind of like it's good for everyone.
Hey, so I'm thinking about starting the change.org petition to have Fred Durst show up at my graduation. So you guys need to sign that if you want it to happen.
I'm at this point in my life right now where I can't decide whether I want to keep bringing up Limp Bizkit just like as a constant thing every week, like make a point of doing that or not.
It's gonna happen.
Just let it flow through you.
Just let it roll through me, you said?
Just let it roll through you. Just let it flow like Fred Durst raps.
It doesn't, though. It doesn't flow.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
So this is a podcast about Terrace House.
It is a podcast about Terrace House. Hello,
welcome.
everybody.
Yeah.
This week is another Lost Week episode. We're all recovered mostly from our drunken experience last week. That was crazy and awful and also fun. You should go listen to that episode if you haven't.
Daly's alive, guys. She's here.
I'm alive. I
Hello.
Survived. I was assassinated midway through, but I'm here.
Yikes.
We actually had to trade Jack out for Daly, which is why Jack's not here.
Sacrifice.
This is going to be a 3-person podcast from now on. That's not true. But.
No.
This week we are talking about some more lost tapes. You can find all the links to those videos in the description below. We're going to be looking at 6 scenes across weeks 34 and 37. And I say let's just jump right in. Start talking about these whack-ass scenes. The first one happens during week 34, and it's called "It Was Stupid of Me to Do Such a Thing," which is kind of heavy, a little bit of a heavy title. This is happening during the episode Bye Bye Miss Terrace House, just to kind of put some context around there for you. It's that episode where Sana and Noah leave the house a little early on, and Taka leaves later on after having that date with Reika, I think was her name.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also the episode where Yui has that weird epiphany of, man, I was kind of not great in the early episodes I was in. Whoops.
Yeah, I think that, and this just is another batch of Another Terrace House clips that just goes to show that, like, I don't really understand why they cut most of these from the show because they just add so much. I don't know if this clip in particular is the greatest example of that. Because I feel like it was just an extension of the scene that we actually did see, because we did see a scene, right, during the regular series where she saw herself on Terrace House, and that sort of progressed this arc. So this one felt almost a little bit throwaway to me. Like, I get it was still cool to see it because it's more Terrace House, right? But I couldn't shake that feeling. Am I the only one?
No, yeah, totally. Especially since we've got the bar set pretty high with, stories of ankle pubic hair and people touching each other's boobs, but we'll get into that later. I mean, we will. But it did feel like just like some bonus footage, but maybe I understand why they decided to post it, maybe out of respect to Yui further explaining herself, which it's hard. Like, we talked about it at the time with the episode about how social media puts on this whole other dimension to Terrace House and the people living in it and seeing themselves. But like, it still makes me feel bad to hear that like people were calling her out for like, oh, you went to talk to Taka and then you immediately lied to Mayu. How dare you? And it's like, it's a show. People don't consciously think about stuff like that, especially with, it wasn't a lie. It was just kind of like a lie but omission.
A little white lie.
Yeah. We all tell those.
Santa Claus is still real, guys.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think that a scene like in this Another Terrace clip and the actual scene itself where Yui lies to Mayu, that just reminds me and reminds us as viewers, I think, that how much the show actually is grounded in reality. Because you're not really going to get scenes like that, like the genuineness of it in a more scripted show.
Yeah, and the way I see it too, it's like, I think with Yui, when she looked back at the scene, like she herself said, like, I kind of regret doing that because like I don't like liars, and in this case I did lie, right? But in the same way, she also says that at the time she was pretty scared of Mayu, which, I kind of get that. Mayu was very intimidating socially. It just seemed like all of her interactions with Yui were cut pretty short, like very kind of business oriented almost.
Yeah.
Right.
And Yui just goes on to say that, hey, like up until Terrace House, I've lived with my mom. Like if I wanted to avoid someone I didn't like, I could just go home. But now going home means being with a person you want to avoid for her, which is something she's never dealt with before.
Right. I mean, I assume that, have you guys ever had a bad roommate experience, I guess, is what I'm trying to ask?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like was
right
that now?
No.
Yikes. Zach, I'm sorry.
Rip, dude.
No, I was talking about you guys, but okay.
Oh, wait.
We're roommates now?
No,
Okay.
that you guys are roommates with each other.
Oh,
Or is that a fourth wall I'm breaking here?
that's fucking meta, dude. You just I've never had like the worst roommate experience. I've had like little annoyances. It's never been to this scale, but like there's definitely some truth, right? Like, especially like my first year of undergrad was the first time I've ever lived with someone else that wasn't my family, right? And having that experience of like living with random people and actually learning what people's habits are, and it's kind of a scary thing because it can be really ambiguous. And it could be everything from like, hey, they don't clean shit up, to all the way up to like maybe you guys actually get in verbal arguments and things like that. Not that it actually happened to me, thank God. I mean, there was an incident or two, but
Colin only got into physical arguments.
Yeah, only physical.
Fisticuffs.
Yep. Yeah. But I don't know. What about you guys? Can you guys relate, I guess?
I never had a roommate where like socially I couldn't talk to them. I just didn't want to talk to them. And for the most part, I never, like, this was my first year in like freshman dorm, so you're like, you're kind of forced to live with this person, and I never spent time in my room anyway, so it was never really an issue. It was just like, I live with a guy that I would never be friends with, so that's fine.
Sure. Right. And that just happens. I think that, I mean, there's people that you live with, and then there's people that you're friends with. You know what I mean? And I think those can be put into two different categories depending on the situation. What about you, Daly?
I mean, I was pretty lucky in terms of the roommate department. My very first college roommate, we didn't talk the entire time we lived together. Like maybe once or twice. And I'm talking about like just a dorm, just, two beds, 2 desks, etc. It was a pretty good setup though. I don't resent it or regret it. I think it's weird still, but it was fine. There is definitely the aspect though of like when you're an introvert and like being social really takes it out of you, like drains your battery, and then having to be around people constantly, It's not fun. It's not conducive to a good living environment. I can see that in the case of like Yui having to avoid Mayu and like feeling like there's no escape. Like they sleep in the same room.
Yeah.
Right.
I was going to say that's the toughest part, right? When I was like a freshman, we slept in the same room. There was no wall, there was no
Right.
partition, right? Since then, I've always lived in an apartment or a house with everyone has their own room. And that just makes a world of difference in terms
it
of
totally
like,
does.
yeah, like if you're annoyed with your roommate for a day, like you at least can kind of escape it.
And decompress.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then come back. Yeah, but whereas, you live in the same room, you just have no way to escape. And so I think also too, and another thing that adds to that is in something like Terrace House, the lineup is fluctuating all the time, or at least it can at some points. And so you run into that issue where when you first meet someone, right, it's really hard to like at the start. It's almost considered rude to draw the line in terms of habits, living in the house and things like that. And so like if you know the person ahead of time, that you can kind of be open with them about the sort of boundaries that you have. Whereas if it's a complete stranger, it's like you have to be a little bit more hesitant and ease up on it. And then next thing you know, you have a complete shit roommate, really.
Or you can be an alpha like Noah and leave your underwear in the sink.
He was, marking his territory. This is my sink.
What a Chad.
I'm sorry, you say what a champ? Because you're right.
What a Chad.
Oh my God.
What a Chad.
I say let's move on to the next clip because I really want to talk about this one. This one's so fucking fun.
I'm mad at Noah again, all over again for this clip.
I know. Yeah, I know, right? So this clip is called Local Girls. Oh, by the way, the last clip was translated by Koma and Moaku. Thank you for that. This one, Local Girls, is translated by Koma and Gabweeb. And it comes to us from the Another Terrace project. So this one happens in the same episode, week 34, Bye Bye Miss Terrace House. And so we start at the moment where it's basically a big opening new doors reunion. You've got Shunsuke, Aya, Yui, and Taka, and then people who used to be in the house, Shion, Tsubasa, Shohei. They're all in the kitchen. This is a continuation of that little party, that little reunion. And Shohei Shohei says that Yuudai contacted him. Or no, was it Shion? I think it was Shion who said that Yuudai contacted him and was like, I'm getting close to Yui. He basically slid into Yui's DMs and asks for her line, which is like the equivalent of her WhatsApp or her what's another?
Let me get your number, girl.
Yeah, or Kakao Talk, essentially.
Yeah, that's like a disappointed but not surprised moment for me.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my God, of fucking course, because he sees how motherly, quote unquote, Yui is on the show, and he's just like, wow, that's the girl for me. Not even gonna like try otherwise, just gonna see if I get a hold of Yui and I can make her my mother dog. I can't even say it with a straight face.
Yeah,
God. And then there's the whole extra dimension that Yui mentions. Like, she was like, it's kind of weird because she's never actually met him, that he's like contacting her and she's watched him on the show, which instantly just like puts him out of the running for any kind of romantic interaction. And then there's the fact that, so Yuudai is 20. Yui's brother Yuudai is 20
and also named Yuudai.
Yes.
Nope. That's just a big nope. Nope.
It's a giant recipe for disaster. And I love how she's like, yeah, still haven't set a date with him for this whole like movie thing he wants to go out on.
See, I remember on this show, I'm pretty sure I've said, man, Yui and Yuudai probably would have been a good couple because she's a mom and he's basically a child. Right? Like, now that I'm seeing it sort of come to fruition, I'm like, nope, never mind. Just none of it. I don't want any of that.
She does the mom thing unprompted. Like, I feel like if someone was going to ask her, like, oh, could you do my laundry for me? Could you, like, pull up my socks for me? She wouldn't she wouldn't deal with that. She wouldn't like that at all. She likes doing it on her own volition versus being told what to do.
Same.
I would, dude. I feel like Yuudai probably has like, God, not the fetish shame, but or kink shame, but dude, that dude probably has some weird fetishes. I just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just get that sense. It's just.
And I think my favorite thing is that after Yui told the table, hey, so like I do have a brother who's 20 and named Yuudai, Shion was like, Yuudai might have thought that was a positive thing in his favor. And I'm like, in some way I could see that with Yuudai, because he just has like a very twisted sense of what it is women want out of a man.
He doesn't want, like, what he wants doesn't seem to be a relationship. It just seems like a second mom.
I
mean, it's a kind of relationship,
but not a romantic one. At least hopefully
not. Mm-mm. And then the guys leave the room to go smoke, because I guess even Shohei, like, it's still weird to me that a singer smokes, but that really shouldn't be, because that's like historically a thing, but whatever. So now it's just the girls, Aya, Tsubasa, and Yui. And Yui recounts this fucking out of nowhere story where apparently in elementary school she talked to Tsubasa and was like, are you a boy or like, she Professor Oaks her, are you a boy or a girl? And Tsubasa doesn't even remember this interaction.
It's a small town. They all know each other. They're local girls, which is what the episode's called.
And I just found that so funny, because like you normally don't think about that in Terrace House. Like usually, at least in my head, whenever I see people meet on Terrace House, I think this is the first time they've all ever met.
Right. Yeah, that kind of blew my mind that they were like two people that actually knew each other outside of the house. I was like, what? They never even alluded to that before. You know what I mean? And Tsubasa comes in. She's like, yeah, I see your mom like all the time. We ask how things are and catch up. It's a normal occurrence.
That was really sweet.
It was super sweet.
I can just imagine, though, like little Tsubasa decked out in her hockey gear and little Yui sitting next to her mom and is like, is Si-chan a boy or a girl? And like Tsubasa just turning her head like, oh, eh? Honey?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I thought that was kind of hilarious, right? Because you never really see small town interactions like that on Terrace House. No. But the girls also talk about some other pretty interesting stuff. Let's see here. For one, apparently before Noah left the house, he told Yui, and I quote, I think you won't fall in love.
What? Like, that's like the worst fortune cookie to ever open ever. Like, can you imagine? No, it's worse, because can you imagine just like someone that you thought you were going to be in a relationship with is like leaving with his gorgeous girlfriend and is just like, it was a good time. I'm glad we got to know each other. I think, things worked out, and I don't think you'll ever fall in love. Bye. Yeah.
And his qualifier was, I think you'll stay here without a romance for a couple months. I just think it's that you won't love someone. And I'm like, bitch, you're the one she fell in love with. And then you said no.
He wants to be the only one. He wants to be her one that got away forever.
Yeah, he's just shoveling more clout onto his ego is what he's trying to do. That's all he's trying to do.
Gross. That was a gross person.
That was just, it didn't help his image that we.
There's very little context that would be okay in. Like, maybe like, don't worry about, making yourself fall in love. Just let it happen. Sure. But that's totally different context from, it's not going to happen. Give up, sweetie.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I did love Yui's impression of Noah, though, while she was saying the whole, like, I don't think you're going to fall in love part. Like, she deepened her voice a bit, tried to be, like, gruff man, and I was like, this is cute. But Tsubasa brings this up. She asks if Noah and Seina made out a lot while they were in the house. And the way Yui describes their love is, like, my favorite thing. She says, it's like I was seeing a truly mature love. And they rubbed their bellies together while they were listening to music. And I'm like, I think they call that dry humping.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I read that and I was like, I'm gonna rewind the tape. I believe that's either dry humping or sex.
Like when I first
Where
heard
was
it, I
this
just thought
happening?
like they both stood arm's distance apart and like rubbed each other's bellies with their arms. And I was thinking, no, that doesn't make sense. It's not really a dance move.
Rub
Like
their
they-
bellies together.
Like we saw a lot of PDA from them, but usually that was behind what would otherwise be closed doors if they weren't on, like a TV show. So it makes me wonder, like, if some of these lost tapes have some, like, them making out and then pan over to awkward Yui sitting at the table.
Witnessing their mature love.
Yeah, she's just like slowly kind of shading her hand. And like with her shading her eyes with her hand on the side, but then she's
God.
also parting her fingers to see what's going on.
I kind of feel bad for Yui in the house because think about it. Like there was probably a moment, a week or two, where she had to deal with either staring at no one, saying a cuddling and or making out and or fucking, or she can distract herself with her phone that's full of line messages from Yuudai. No. Like, oh no, Yui. I'm so sorry.
It's my old friend.
She had a torturous week.
God, that's rough, man. We're sorry, Yui.
Yeah, man. I've dunked on her before, but this is enough hell for her. I feel bad.
Yeah, this is just punishment.
Jigoku da yo.
Let's move on to the next clip, shall we?
I love this next clip.
This next clip is so good. Week 36, this clip is called Suntan, translated by Koma and Sei, coming to us from the Another Terrace project once again. This happens during episode 36, Take Shelter from the Rain. Not much happens in that episode. That's the episode where Yui and Kaito go on a skate date for the first time, and the house throws Maya a little birthday party, which is kind of nice because like that was, I think, her second week or first week in the house, maybe second week. Nonetheless, they throw her a birthday party, which is nice. This clip starts with Aya in the backyard suntanning, and it's just like a minute-long shot of her undressing down to her undies, to her bikini bottoms, putting on suntan spray. I didn't realize it came in a spray, but it does.
Yes.
And just fucking, like, fan service.
It was very male gaze. There was a lot of lingering shots.
Yeah.
It did get uncomfortable to the point when I think it was on Maya, but like literally like it panned up from like her stomach slowly up to her face, and she just looked so uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, it was a little rough. But yeah, essentially Maya does join Aya in the backyard, and they're both tanning on what I think looked like a partly cloudy day, which I didn't think that'd be a good day to tan, but I guess that's when the UV rays are strongest. I don't.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I was born with a natural tan. I don't need any of this sun shit. Okay. But
Well, you're not gonna get it here in fucking Seattle, that's for sure.
that's true. I've never seen the sun here.
Yeah. What is the sun? My favorite part of this. Well, after the whole boob talk. They're like, oh, Maya, your boobs are so big. That's what Aya kept saying, and she's like, stop talking about my boobs. My favorite part is when Aya tries to take a hard shift in the conversation. She's like, so what were your parents like?
Yeah.
And starts rubbing the suntan lotion on or whatever, and it's just a really stiff and awkward conversation, like the rest of the way through.
It's weird because I feel like they were behaving more naturally when they kept like patting at each other. Like Aya patted some cleavage, and then
there was some boob jiggle.
Maya patted Aya's very flat stomach.
Yeah, she's
And,
like a pancake. Her chest was like a pancake, is what she said.
And then there was some confusing details about Japanese bra sizes are weird, guys. I don't know how much you know about American bra sizes, but
I believe they're smaller, right, in Japanese?
significantly.
Yeah. Like an A cup in Japan is way smaller than an A cup in America.
Yeah, it's like a training bra in America.
Zoinks.
Zoinks. Yeah. like when Maya said that she had like a D cup, it's like she had a B cup maybe here. So it's essentially just double everything. And then that's American standards.
Yeah. I don't know. It was she said like that's like what did I say? She said like that's like 4 times my size or something like that. I don't know how this works.
Yeah, in all my years of shopping for my bras, I have heard a lot that it's kind of actually more common, I think, that like women don't know their actual bra size.
Yep. Nope.
Kind of like everyone with their shoe size. No one knows exactly what kind of shoes to fucking wear. Just wear flip-flops and you're good. But it makes me curious because I think Maya, when she was confirming like, oh yeah, I'm this size, she was like, I think I'm this size. So I don't know, maybe that's just like another hint of like maybe she doesn't really know.
Yeah,
like most people, I guess.
That's one of those things too, because like retailers, especially with women's sizes, are just like, we're gonna slap a number on there. There's no one standard. Everything's different depending on the brand, which is super fun shopping experience.
Great.
It's great.
It's usually like, that's what I've noticed. It seems like when it comes to women's bra sizes, there's just no standard or continuity because it's usually like whatever the times that I have heard talk about bras, it's always followed by like I wear so and so size and like Victoria's Secret. You know what I mean? It's always like per retailer.
You have to specify. Jeans are even worse, but gosh, they're tiny girls. I don't know what size jeans they'd be wearing. They both have very flat stomachs. They mentioned strength training workouts at one point too.
I mean, their muscles did seem toned. They didn't seem like lanky.
Yeah.
Like they weren't bulging by any means. They're not like Joe Rogan. But
what if that's what like someone just like takes off their shirt and is just like ridiculously buff,
like fucking 6-pack.
That would change the battle royale matchup significantly.
Actually, now that I think about it, didn't Shion have a 6-pack? We just never see it in the show except for like the intro.
Yeah.
The only time I think you see it is when the occasional times they would show him modeling.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, this conversation, as Colin alluded to earlier, does transition into this weird talk about like family, not in like a Fast and Furious way, but like just, what's their family like? And I kind of really liked that part of the scene personally, because it added so much more context to like who these people are. Like Maya talks about how her brother has a disability, so her mom has to take care of his brother a lot, and like she was rebellious, didn't like her dad, at one point in her life, and like I don't know, that's the kind of stuff you don't get in normal Terrace House, but it helps make her feel like, oh, she's a real human being.
Oh, definitely, yeah. My favorite part being the part where she's like, yeah, I jumped out of a 2-story window.
Yeah.
To get out of the house, and my mom, in like pure sitcom style, was closing the shades, and she's like, is my daughter flying?
I love that, especially because it wasn't like told in the sense like, oh, I made this like childish mistake. It's like, no, I planned that. I hid shoes and a little bit of money, and this was part of my whole plan to just get out of the house, even though my mom grounded me for previously jumping off the roof.
Yeah. I thought she was like almost full-blown implying that she was planning on running away as a kid, like actually running away.
Yeah, she just go buy some ice cream without parental supervision. It's fine.
Right.
It's tough to do that as a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like Maya was very animated, when she was telling that story, more so than I feel like I've seen her in like the 4 or 5 episodes she's in part 5.
Yeah, it's very much a Shinsuke situation where in the lost tapes, I feel like I get to know her a lot more than I ever have during a typical episode of Terrace House.
Mm-hmm.
Totally, yeah. This is definitely like a background building or like a lore building episode, I guess, if you want to put it in a certain way.
This is that Tolkien book, the
Silmarillion?
Yeah, is this the Silmarillion?
These episodes, these clips are the Silmarillion of Terrace House. And when I was saying earlier that the conversation was kind of stiff, it just seemed to me like the segue was just a really, really hard, like awkward turn from the previous conversation. That's why it felt kind of stiff to me. She's like, so yeah, boobs. So what's your family like?
That's how I transition conversations. Usually from boobs.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it was super stiff.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't super bad. It was just, I don't know. There was a lot of like, I was just like, why do you keep talking about my boobs? Stop talking about my boobs. Anyway.
What can you do? Let's talk about our next clip here, shall we?
And
clip
not boobs.
4. not boobs. This clip is called "What's Your Boob Size?" Well, that's weird. No, I'm kidding. It's called "Is This Love?" Baby, don't hurt me. Baby, don't hurt me no more. And it is translated by Holy One 2 and Coma from Another Terrace project. This also takes place during episode 36, and there's, for a pretty short clip, they go to a lot of venues, which I was totally happy with this one. But it starts out with Yui, Aya, and Shunsuke hanging out in the playroom, and Shunsuke kind of reveals, oh, hey, I'm pretty interested in Kaito. More than Soda. This is like 2 weeks before the Soda date.
Mm-hmm.
And the girls encourage him to go on a skate date with Kaito.
Yeah, so this one was kind of like one of those things where I can't believe they clipped this one from the show. Did they even mention the skate date in the regular show? I don't remember if they did.
Not that I remember. It's a whole date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an entire date.
And in some ways, it was kind of like irritating to me because, we just spent an entire episode talking about Shunsuke, right? And this is one of those things where, like, we totally missed out on a part of his arc that they just straight up cut from the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was just weird because, there's a lot to this. There's a lot to unpack. And I don't want to, like, spend too much time doing that. But, like, we get to see bits of Aya, like, how she feels weeks after the Taka date with, like, the skate date, right? Because she alludes to, like, oh, I went on a skate date once. Yikes. But it was good because, like, when you hold his hand while he, helps control the skateboard with you, like, your heart races, right? Like, you get this cool interaction with her that I don't think we've seen at all, right? So Shunsuke goes to the kitchen where Kaito and Maya are sitting there, and I love Kaito so much. Like, I feel like I've forgotten about him in these past few weeks where we've been doing a lot of non-central to opening your doors content, but he's just like, yo man,
yo man,
yo man,
yo man,
and Shunsuke's just like, yo man. Like, that's so good.
Yeah, and then I love how, like, their rapport, like Kaito and Shunsuke's rapport in that scene was just like, hey, yeah, so, like, I want to go skateboard, and he's like, yeah, let's do it, and they're just like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's just plan it, we're doing it, it's happening.
Yeah,
that easy, quick and easy.
Yeah. And so they go to the skate park, and this is the same skate park that Taka went to. It's the same one where Taka and Kaito met at. It's that indoor one, and they've always called it Monster Skate Park, like in the subtitles and in the notes, the lower thirds. But they show you a picture of or a shot of the venue from outside, and I want to point out they literally spell it SK8 Park, and I feel
yes.
Dude,
I feel so redeemed.
That's amazing. It's so early 2000s edge, and I love it.
Same.
I love it.
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, but what did you guys think of that skate date?
I thought. Go ahead, Daly.
Oh yeah, it was really interesting to see because we have something to compare it to. We have Aya and Taka's skate date to compare it to, and not to be mean to Aya, but it was a lot more entertaining to watch because, like, Shunsuke actually tried versus, like, Aya was like, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. Whereas Shunsuke said, I'm gonna die once. And that's when he was, like, actually moving on the skateboard. And he didn't do too bad for a first try. But
no, not at all. I thought he was gonna eat shit.
Yeah, no. There was no one fell down as far as I could tell. But it just was very very wholesome, I guess. It was just two bros chilling at the skate park, but they weren't 5 feet apart because Shunsuke might be gay.
Yep. One of them's gay.
One of them's gay.
Yeah, I think the parts where Kaito was helping Shunsuke out were really nice, especially the part where he was leading him down the ramp and he just kind of goes after that and he's like, oh god, I'm gonna die. Okay, I'm good. But my favorite part of that whole scene was when Shunsuke is just watching Kaito skate in the bowl, and just he's killing it left and right and just pulling out all these moves, and then Shunsuke, you can see his face like light up and he's like, wow, like holy shit. This dude's the real fucking deal.
I mean, Kaito's good.
Yeah, he is. He's really good.
He's a fucking legend.
Yeah, I was like, am I playing Tony Hawk right now? I'm pretty sure you can only do that in Tony Hawk.
Look, can we start a change.org petition, add skateboarding to Olympics 2020?
Yes.
Then he can join.
Yes.
And then
I'm sure
he
the
can meet
X
Guy.
Games Japan are a thing, right? I don't know.
Yeah, and then they'll hang out like together, he and Guy at the Olympics. Oh, that'd be so good.
Yes.
Another Terrace.
There it is. And then this scene ends with Yui, Aya, and Shunsuke back in the playroom. And I mean, it's kind of like a sad ending in a way, where Shunsuke is like, no, I didn't really feel anything. I didn't feel any like love. I didn't feel like I wanted to kiss and have sex with Kaito, which I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, he was really forward about it, but yeah, I mean, that was pretty much the gist of it. Is like, there wasn't really much of a connection there. It was fun, but it just wasn't any feelings.
They're bros. They're bros.
Yeah, they're bro. I mean, I feel like Kaito is like everyone's bro.
Yeah.
It's kind of his vibe.
Totally.
Yeah. But this is just kind of leading up to Shunsuke being like, you know, I realize that with a skate date, we didn't get much time to talk. So I'm hoping that with Soda's date in 2 weeks, we spend a lot of time talking. And when I heard that, it just made me think, I wish we did get this scene in the actual show, because it'd show this kind of progression of like how Shunsuke is exploring that side of himself, as opposed to just like one miraculous date he has with Soda and like that's it, he's figured it out, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, that just makes it feel all the more sudden if you just have the one date in there. You put this other date in there, and I mean, granted, Shunsuke wasn't on the show for a very long time, but I would argue that's all the more reason to put this date in the actual show. Because they needed to add to his arc, but they just didn't. I don't know. I don't understand the choice that the producers made on this.
It was a whole episode in and of itself. Like,
yeah, kind of, sort of.
There was a whole, exactly as you said, like an arc to tell. So I wish again that it had been included, because Shunsuke got really the short end of the stick when it came to airtime throughout his time at Terrace House.
Yeah. This scene ends with, well, I had an epiphany that I'm worried maybe changes the entire way I'm going to see Terrace House, opening you doors forever. Is Yui funny? She might be, right? Because she ends...
Does that change everything?
Because she ends this by saying to Shinsuke, oh, you should make a list. And I like laughed out loud, and I was like, wait, has Yui been funny this whole time? Am I just like misconstruing everything she's said as not a joke?
She's very deadpan, if
Wait,
that's
you
the
should
case.
make a list. And I was like, no.
Yeah, don't do that now. But yeah, I was like, man, maybe she is funny. And I just didn't really notice it until now. Because there's another clip later that we're going to talk about in this episode where she also makes more jokes. And I'm just like, is she funny? Maybe. I don't know.
Yui's funny.
I think so.
Yui's funny.
Maybe they just don't want to highlight her funniness.
Maybe. I mean, think about it. You have to have a sense of humor to be able to tell someone probably like 15 years later, hey, when we met when we were kids, I thought you were maybe a boy, right? When she was talking to Tsubasa. Like, you have to be able to laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
To be able to tell that story.
That's very true, and that's so funny, because that's just another reason why, like, yeah, this show cannot be fucking scripted. Like, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like, you don't get this shit in other TV shows, because I've definitely had moments like that, like where I've met someone that's kind of like an old connection that I kind of barely know, but I know them for this one thing that happened. It was probably an awkward situation. I'm like, yeah, like, remember when this happened? Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I've definitely had moments like that.
Yeah. Let's move on to our fifth clip here. Week 37, Girls Talk. This is translated by Mrs. Chap and Coma. I believe they joined Costco Subs at this point, who are the same people who translated the very first season of Terrace House. Fun fact. So kind of coming full circle here, right? So this clip comes from episode 37, First and Last Date. To kind of recap that episode for you real quick, that's the episode where Shunsuke and Sota go on that hamster ball on water day, and Sota eats shit, and it's amazing. Aya and Shunsuke announce that they're leaving the house during this episode. Yui and Maya go to that festival, at which point when they come back home, Kaito says, okay, wow, which was just it's
wow.
my favorite thing. And at the end of the episode, all the boys take a bath, and Kaito steps over Shunsuke, and his dick is in blowjob range, like lighting a match. Yeah, this was a wild episode.
A lot happened.
Mushroom
lot
stamp, put a pin.
I didn't realize this was all one episode.
Yeah, this is like one of the better episodes of Opening New Doors. So Girls Talk opens with Shunsuke, Aya, Yui, and Maya in the kitchen. And I love that Shunsuke's in on the Girls Talk. Like, that just makes me so happy. Like, he's just a part of it. And just a spoiler alert, this one gets raunchy AF. So, like, bear with us for the next, like, 10 minutes, maybe. Aya asks Maya, how many people have you been with? Basically, how many times have you been with a person in bed? And Maya has to sit there and think for a bit.
Let me count.
To which Shunsuke says, "Oh, so you're a bit." Yep. He kind of stops himself, and Maya's like, "Were you about to say bitch?"
I thought
he said bye.
I thought that's what he was going to say too, and then she was like, "Oh, you're saying that I'm a bitch."
Well, yeah, because if you hear the phonetics, right? Like if you listen to how Shunsuke says it, he says "b," not "bye."
Right.
Yeah. If you just read the English subtitles, you might think, "Oh, bye," because he just says "bi." ... But I'm pretty sure he was about to call her a bitch.
Yikes.
Is that the right context to say that? There's several other words that could be said if he's wanting to be rude like that.
Too.
But
yeah, I really wanted to talk about this with you two, because I know you two know a lot more about Japanese language than I do. Like, do you think maybe he was trying to say like bishojo, like you're a beautiful, like, of course, right? Because like that's like a term for an attractive girl.
I'm gonna press X to doubt on that.
Same.
Well, then she did say that afterward, and it's like, or someone said it in the resulting yelling after that comment, but it was like, oh no, he meant to say, bijutsu, which is like beautiful girl, like
yeah,
bijutsu.
that's it. Yeah, so maybe that's it. I don't know.
I feel like he wouldn't, but then again, when we've learned from very small moments with Shunsuke, he gets feisty after drinking a little bit.
Yeah, and he even said, like, I thought if I said the whole word, she'd get angry, so I stopped at B. So I'm like, clearly it's an insulting word.
Because there might be a word that we just don't know that's very specific to someone that slept with 7 people, but enjoyed none of it.
Yeah, that was a little odd.
I'm thinking that she's asexual. She just does not enjoy sex, but...
That's kind of what went through my head too. Like, I was kind of with you, and she's just like, I like kissing, but I don't like being touched, is what she was saying.
Like, to the point that she cries, and I'm like, honey, no.
That's like, maybe like your first time or first couple times, but like if you cry every time you're having sex, that might not be a good thing.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Right. And she says it's not even out of like pain. It's just like she can't explain it. So I really think, it might be like just this isn't something she enjoys in general.
Yeah.
But I think we talked about this before, like in the first few episodes Maya joined the house. We kind of speculated back then maybe she is asexual, but it's kind of hard to, like, if you don't have people who tell you being asexual is okay, it's very easy to fall into this mental social trap of like, no, I can't be asexual. That's wrong. Everyone enjoys sex, right?
Yeah, I mean, she couldn't even put it into words, and even Shunsuke was like, "Oh, you mean like in a way like Mama, Papa, I'm sorry." Like, and it's like, no, it's not a shame thing. It's not a pain thing. It's just she's not into it.
Yeah. But yeah, she reveals she's been with 5 guys, which I wrote burgers at the end of that in my notes because I'm a child.
Burgers and fries. Damn it.
Yeah.
Not a Gamergate reference, please. Thank you. Okay, cool.
Oh, no. Like 5 guys, burgers and fries. The food.
I didn't even know that related to Gamergate, so.
Yep.
I'm just making an innocent reference to burgers and fries, okay?
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
I love 5 Guys Burgers and Fries, but 5 Guys Burgers and Fries is a Gamergate reference. But
nope, none of that, because
we're free of that here.
It's a piece of shit. Let's not even think about it. Yeah, but then she's also dated 7 people total, and I mean, this was a little bit unsure to me, and maybe I was being thrown off because, like, I remember in the show proper, she kind of hints at maybe she's interested in girls, and then seeing the subtitles that we were just talking about with Shunsuke, like, there was a moment where I also thought maybe he meant bi. So I was a little unsure if she meant like, oh, I've dated 7 guys specifically, or like just 7 people.
See, there's a cultural difference here that we need to take into consideration. In Japan, especially if you go to like an all-girls school, which are fairly common, like it's expected that girls will get into romantic relationships with each other, but that at some point they grow out of it and move on to liking boys because that's just, you know, like a phase. It's like a part of childhood.
Okay.
Which is kind of homophobic in and of itself.
A little bit.
And weird and dismissive, especially of bi people. So I'm wondering, maybe in that case, maybe, you know, she thought that she'd grow out of the phase and never did. I don't know.
Well, moving forward, Yui, of course, says she's been intimate with 0 people because we know that she came on the show and like revealed, yeah, I'm a virgin. Pretty sure the episode she was introduced in was titled after her. I think it was like a virgin or something. And then Shinsuke kind of gets rowdy and says like, oh yeah, Aya's been with 40 guys. Which at first I was like, whoa, okay.
Whoa.
Shinsuke.
Yeah. And then says that Shinsuke says like, yeah, I've only been with 4 girls, no guys. And Aya says that she's dated 3 guys, but only been intimate with 2.
Yeah. Oh, also, I mean, I thought it was a funny detail when Maya threw in there. She's like, yeah, my jaw pops really badly when I'm kissing someone.
Okay. Yeah. That's like, what?
They're like your jaw just like full blown dislocates like you're eating. Like, are you eating them?
Yeah, and Shinsuke's like, I knew your foreign part was strong, which I'm not really sure if that's racist or a slight on anything, but I feel like it was.
Sounds a little racist to me, but
yeah,
I'm a white girl. I am not allowed to say.
I don't know, man. I just how
that's too much jaw work going.
I wanted, like, no matter how much you tongue down, I feel like you need, like, I know the muscle's the strongest, the tongue is the strongest muscle in the body, but if you're dislocating jaws while you kiss someone,
what you doing, man?
What's happening?
There's too much lower jaw movement happening.
Are you secretly a snake? Just
yes.
like dislocate your jaw to take in your food?
Just unhinge the jaw. There you go. Let's kiss.
Yeah, God, that's disturbing.
No.
I'm ready now.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah, dislocating jaws. But yeah, like, in contrast to Maya, Aya's like, no, I mean, like, I really like being touched. I like intimacy, things like that. You know, I like sex is basically what she was saying. But the thing that takes the cake in this clip, and we've got a glimpse out of it a little bit from previous clips, but is Shun's answer.
Oh, it's so good.
It's just like,
Shinsuke, he brings it around to like, what kind of sex do you like?
Yeah, what kind of sex do you like? And knowing that Shunsuke needs to be dominated, it was not surprising, but still is kind of surprising because he's just like, yeah, I like the ever living shit beat out of me. Like, just fuck me up, like, it's like smack my ass, punch me in the fucking face, like just, yeah. I'm like, oh my god, dude.
I wrote down every one of his quotes. So like, Maya like directs the question to him, what's it been like with the girls? I want her to beat me, he says. I want to get beaten like pow, anywhere, face, ass, anywhere.
Pow, 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 right in the kisser.
That's that.
At least he owns up to it.
Yeah,
he's not ashamed.
I'm not here to kink shame. You know, if you want to get your ass beaten during sex, that's on you.
Yeah,
I'm glad you enjoy it.
I've heard of strangling and stuff like that, but this is like a whole other thing.
What's wild to me is I forget. Did he say how many girls he's dated? I mean, because he only said he's been intimate with 4 girls.
Yeah, I don't know how many of those he actually dated.
But my question is, like, I mean, just he's 19. How many blocks do you have to be around to find 4 girls who not only are into sex, but then also will strangle you, will beat your ass, during sex.
Maybe it's
not
just
that's not to say that all of them do that.
True. It's true.
he just found the one girl that introduced him to the world of pain.
And he needs it.
And he's now into it.
Yeah, and I love that before all of this comes out, he does say something like he thinks that he's similar to Yui in like what they like in sex, which at first I'm like, no, stop. But he qualifies it with like, it's because I want my first time with a guy to be beautiful and clean, just like Yui. And it's like, okay, that went to a more wholesome place than I thought it would.
The next time I want to be beaten senseless, but the first time, let's just be gentle and nice.
Same. Aya says something along the lines of she likes to be intimate when it's with her boyfriend. And Shunsuke said exactly what I was thinking. Is there someone who doesn't like doing it with like their SO, their social significant other, right?
I mean, Maya, I guess.
Well, Maya, yeah, I guess that's fair. I don't know. I mean, it just feels like it's a very like no duh statement for the most part.
Well, yeah, in a regular, in a like a non-asexual relationship, I would assume so. You know.
Yeah. And then Yui, this is, I imagine, maybe a volatile question to ask the table, but she asks, what do they think she'd be like in sex?
Oof.
Yikes.
And it's like, let's go to the playroom. Let's find out. No.
Oh, shit. Okay.
That is a weird question to ask your friends, though.
Yeah, it really is. But I think Aya says something along the lines of she thinks Yui would be a masochist.
What?
Like she would enjoy pain, or she would be...
I think it was like she would enjoy pain, which is like, that's...
If anything...
Okay.
And maybe this is uncharitable of me. I would think that Yui would be more like a sadist, just in the sense of being in charge. I think she wants to be not in charge, but I feel like her personality would just take charge anyway.
Yeah, I feel like knowing Yui, it would be like, you know, she was trying to let herself, you know, be the dominating one, essentially. Yeah, the sub. And it would turn into one of those things where like, you're not doing it right, you got to do it this way, and then next thing you know,
exactly.
I'll
do it
be
myself.
Like that, yeah, it'd be that scene with Kaito, right, where Kaito's like doing the dishes and she's like, oh, I'll help, and he's like, no, I got this, and then a minute later she's like, yeah, I'm gonna help. Like,
right, exactly.
It would be that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it would be.
No, I got this.
Yeah. And then Shunsuke goes like he goes fucking deep into what he thinks Yui would be like in bed. It's kind of weird almost, but you know, he says that he thinks Yui would be the kind of person who suddenly start to have a discussion in the middle of sex.
Oh my god. And
he says something, and I wrote this down, don't lick me there now, why are you doing that? Which I think supports our theory of she'd totally be the one to like first let control happen, then takes control herself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we also I don't know if we have that clear of a barometer of like how well she actually knows how sex works. You know what I mean? Like, do we even know if she knows like how to go about sex, I guess?
As childlike as Yui is, I would like to assume that a grown-ass woman knows
how to sex.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the basic understanding, yes, but like to actually have like, you know, I guess good sex is what I'm getting at. I don't know.
Maybe we should invite her on the show, ask her about what she thinks good sex is like.
Yui-chan.
Do you know how to sex good? Let's move on to our last clip here, because we're going a little longer than I thought we would. But week 37, The Memories of Summer, brought to us by Coma and Holy One 2 of Costco subs. This happens during the same episode as the last clip we talked about. And this is basically a deeper dive into the Obon festival that Yui and Maya went to in their yukata. And it opens with them, you know, like shooting cork guns at prizes. And I guess being really bad. I couldn't really tell if the game was rigged, but it was like... rigged. Yeah, probably.
I mean, they were putting the gun like literally right in front of the damn piece of candy, and they weren't hitting it. I was like, this game's fucking rigged.
But it's like a box of caramels. That's hard to knock over.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just found it really funny how Yui was like, I'm going to break the rules. I don't give a shit. I'm going to lean this gun in as close as I can.
And she still couldn't hit anything.
Yeah, hold a like a shotgun looking thing with only one hand. And I noticed in this clip, Maya's fucking tall.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just that Yui's short, but Maya's tall.
She tall.
She is tall. I mean, they are probably wearing Japanese clogs, right? Is it what's the proper word for them, Daily?
Like the ones on the stands? Like those are geta.
Geta, that's right.
You don't always wear those. They're kind of hard to wear, but I mean she's very tall. She seemed taller than usual, but we usually see them all sitting together, so
Yeah, and so I did check their shoes and I was like, they're probably wearing heels or something, but like, no. She was wearing pretty flat shoes. She's just a tall motherfucker.
Damn. Yeah, I mean she is pretty tall. I think this clip in general, it was cool. It was a fun clip to watch. I think, like, in terms of like progressing character arcs, it was a little dry, but it was nice to see Tsubasa again.
Yeah,
Tsubasa's the
Tsubasa
common
shows
trend.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's in a yukata.
it's adorable, and that's her first time wearing one.
Yeah,
she said.
where's she
like,
on?
Oh, it's cute. I don't know, Tokyo.
They're in a long distance
distance.
relationship.
Right, but I was thinking, like, you know, I feel like Shion would be the type of person to make a big deal out of seeing Tsubasa in a yukata.
That's
for
true.
the
Maybe
first
she
time.
didn't tell him.
Oh,
and then
no.
like the picture comes out later and he's like, why didn't I get to see you in your yukata? And she's like, you'll see me on TV. It's fine.
Yeah, just like with Shinsuke, you'll find out that I'm gay on TV. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a cute little thing. I think that's the first time that Tsubasa and Maya meet, right? In that clip, or at least we're led to believe that. I don't know. It was just nice. It was very
nice.
wholesome. It was
Yeah.
a nice palate cleanser from the last clip, for sure.
Definitely. It was just, I don't know. It was like soothing to watch. It was nice.
Yeah.
This is one of the ones I can see why it was cut, though. Just
Totally,
because it's
totally.
literally all that happens aside from like the very cute shooting at caramel scene is like, oh, we run into Tsubasa. Hi, Tsubasa. This is Maya. And
Yeah.
we're doing great. How are you? Yeah, we're great. Me and Shion. It's like, do you ever get angry with them or annoyed? And it's like, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, a little, but not, you
Not
know.
really.
Yeah, it was just
Fine.
a small bit of exposition that they cut from the show. I mean, I'm glad it was there, but, you know, you can see why it was cut. And I think...
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead.
like, one thing I did really like about the scene, though, is that ever since Shion and Tsubasa got together, it's always been Shion and Tsubasa. You know, it's like, you don't really see them apart from each other if they show up on Terrace House anymore. And it was just nice to see Tsubasa on her own. Like, she's still doing things, like, outside of being a couple, which is, like, it's good to
Right.
see that she hasn't lost that independence.
True.
She's a very independent person. She's still my favorite. I love Tsubasa.
Totally.
She's adorable.
Guys, I love watching these clips. Like,
They're good.
Yeah, it's just like, it's a little extra taste of Terrace House, and kind of like, and it also kind of brings you back to certain moments in Terrace House too, right? Like when the lineup was different, when different things are going on, gives you a little bit more backstory to stuff that we've talked about in shows past. And I'm really looking forward to watching more clips too, because I actually caught a glimpse of one, and one of them being a clip with Soda's ex-wife, which is going to be super interesting. So you guys have that to look forward to.
That's going to be a wild one. I'm willing to bet.
wild one.
He doesn't realize who it is at first, and he's like, oh, by the way, I'm a divorced and I have a kid. Oh wait, it's you.
Zoinks.
You know that already.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm glad that, I'm glad for the subreddit and its community for bringing us these clips. 'cause
Yeah,
they
massive
add
shout
so
out to them. They put
Yeah.
some work in for basically nothing in return. So
Yeah, I mean, they do have a Patreon, so I guess support them if you like them. But yeah, Another Terrace and Costco subs, thank you so much for all the work you do. Like, because these clips provide so much extra context and just a nice different flavor from the normal Terrace House fare, which is good, you know, on its own. I'm still very excited for part 6, but I can't help but think about when I see an episode in part 6, I wonder what it was that was cut out. So
What are
maybe
we not seeing?
maybe we'll cover that in the future. We'll find out, you know?
spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoilers. That about wraps us up here for this episode of Tadaima, Terrace House Podcast. Just a reminder, because I don't remember for sure if we said it last week because we were all pretty drunk, but Terrace House next season is confirmed. Tokyo 2019 to 2020. It's coming. I believe the first episode is going to be airing in Japan in May, which means we can expect it on the international Netflix probably like August, maybe September.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. But nonetheless, get excited. There's a lot more Terrace House for us to enjoy, even though Opening Your Doors is coming to an end on international Netflix on March 12th. There'll still be a lot to have fun with. Yeah, if you enjoyed our show, feel free to interact with us all over the social media. We're on pretty much everything. If you want to join in on fun fan discussions, you can check out our Facebook group at Tadaima Clan. Just search that. You should find it, and one of us will let you in, welcome you in with open arms. If you have any questions, comments, theories you want us to discuss on the show, you can email any and all those things to us at questions@terracehousepodcast.com. We'll be back with another episode next Monday, gearing up for the Part 6 release. And until then, this has been Tadaima. Thanks for listening. Itekimasu!
Feel better, Jack.
You can email us at questions@terracehousepodcast.com, follow us on Instagram at Tadaimagram, on Twitter at TadaimaPod, and check us out on Facebook and YouTube at Tadaima, a Terrace House podcast.